Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at the Haggerty10 on a Twitter handle, as you all know by now. And I'm joined today by Aidan Macdonald at Aidan C. Macdonald on his Twitter handle. Good morning, Aidan. Happy Monday. Terrific Tuesday. The sun's out. Hey, all's good, isn't it?
Yeah, no, all good, Tony. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Now, Aidan, normally me and you are the stars of this show, or whoever's on. But today we're throwing it over to the contributors and the commenters, and it's Q&A day, Aidan. They're going to be the stars, so they're going to throw in their questions into the comment section, and we're going to endeavour to answer them with honesty, humility, and humour if it calls for that, Aidan, and we'll see where it takes us as we talk about Celtic. So, guys, get your questions coming into the comment section. We know you're a knowledgeable bunch. I often praise you and say that about you. So, yep, you want to know anything, like myself and young Aidan will have a crack at it and see where you're at and see what we're thinking. It can be on anything. So, well, anything Celtic related, I guess. Now, if you enjoy the daily briefings and you enjoy everything that we write on the website and you haven't already, then why not subscribe? And as you can see running along the bottom, Aidan, it's our strapline every day. Subscribe to the Celtic Way website and support top quality journalism covering the club you love. We'll endeavour to provide that. And it's all for a click of a button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. 420 somewhere, Aidan, with the first question, Gazelles or Sambas? What's your thoughts, Aidan? Do you have any
Uh,
thoughts?
I've always been a Gazelles man, Tony, to be honest. I don't actually have a pair right now currently, but I think that actually might be one I'm looking at going to get over the summer. But yes, I've always been Gazelles over Sambas, personally.
I've always been kind of Gazelle man as well, but I've got a cupboard full of trainers which I've alluded to before, and there's Gazelle, Sambas, you name it, all sorts of stuff in there. So there you have it. Now, Charlie McGarvey comes in. Easy one to start off with. Aidan, good morning, boys. Where do we need to strengthen to be more competitive in Europe?
It's a good question, Tony. Probably a few positions. I know we've highlighted in recent weeks that goalkeeper is definitely one I think Celtic need to look at. Somebody who's a bit better with the ball at their feet, potentially maybe also somebody who's a better shot stopper. I think obviously Joe Hart, he's done well during his time at Celtic, but you can see there's clear deficiencies in his game. I imagine that, if we can see that, I'm sure Andrew and the recruitment staff are aware. Goalkeeper would probably be the big one, Tony. Maybe another option at centre half beside Cameron Carter-Vickers when he's fit. Starfelt has been very, very good recently in Cameron Carter-Vickers' absence, but I think we've seen beside him Kobayashi struggled, and I think Awata struggled a wee bit when he's been in there. So maybe just having another person that can potentially challenge Carter-Vickers and Starfelt, and also if for whatever reason both of them aren't available, can come in and command that position. Those would probably be the two areas that I would immediately jump to my mind, Tony, to be honest.
Yeah, goalkeeper and centre back. Yeah, is that what you're? Well, I think we've discussed before. Goalkeeper would definitely think, don't we? Another centre back wouldn't do any harm. And also, I'm of the opinion that we maybe need a robust midfielder in there. Paul Lambert, Wanyama type, wee bit of muscle. We've spoken about that before. I think we're kind of stocked for strikers, aren't we? We're okay for strikers, but you can never get enough goal scorers in your team, even for my liking. So I would kind of say, yeah, the spine of the team, goalkeeper, centre half, centre mid, with which a bit robust, a bit physical, and a centre forward if we were that way inclined, and if they're going to bring in that many players, depending on who leaves as well, replace them. But I would work on the spine of the team personally. That would make us a wee bit more robust in the Champions League and strengthen us. That's where I think we need strengthening, to be fair. But that's just me. I'm sure the manager's all over that, Aidan, and has his targets and has had them for some time now. It's a question of seeing what business Celtic can get done if they want to get business done and see who comes and goes. But yeah, that would be my thinking as well. Goalkeeper, yep. Another centre back wouldn't do any harm, and a combative midfielder and a centre forward just to, to make sure that Kyogo and O stay on their toes. Charlie McGarvey comes back in and says to me, 100% on the midfield, Tony. And if Abada is going to be enough options on the right hand side, do we have enough options on the right hand side, even if Abada goes?
I mean, obviously Jota can play across on that wing. I think he is better off the left hand side, but he's played plenty of games this season on the right wing, and Maida's been off the left. So he's there. You've got Haxabaran, who you can sort of play across either wing. James Forrest as well. I know people might have a debate about whether or not he can still contribute properly to the team, but as of now, I think he's still got a year or 2 years left on his deal, so he is part of the squad. There is potentially 3 options there. A winger might be where else Ange looks to sign in the summer. It does feel like a sort of position that Celtic are quite heavy in terms of numbers across both sides, but people can leave, can't they, Tony? We don't want anybody to leave that.
Yes.
They're sort of key contributor with, a Jota or anything like that, but things can happen. So Ange, I'm sure, will might have his eye on a forward player that can play across either side just in case. I think having a winger that can play in either of the two sort of attack and wide positions is quite good, because if somebody's got a knock, they can maybe put somebody in the left hand side and somebody can play both, can just float across. Like Jota, to be fair. I mean, he's contributed. His numbers are still good when he's played on the right wing. I remember Sean speaking about it earlier in the year.
Yeah.
They weren't that different overall, whatever side they played on. But I don't know if it's a wee bit of a bias because that's where he started. But when he first came to the club, I did prefer to see him off the left hand side. So that could be another area that maybe Ange looks to buy a player for.
Kirsty O'Connor comes in here and says, I want to know why the media is saying Big Ange is offered me. It depends on which media you read, of course, Kirsty. And Charlie Boyle says he's looking forward to top table. Who can we sign us to take us to the next level? Just kind of touched upon that there. Plungeman Nugget. Tony's Ange staying, or is he going to earn his Spurs elsewhere? And Martin Rogers, what about Celtic lining up Pep assistant to replace Ange when he goes to Spurs? Now there's some fan site doing around at Celtic on talks with Enzo Maresca. Listen, guys, you know better than me. That's clearly rumour mill stuff, and we kind of don't like to address things like that, even though we don't kind of go into the rumour mill stuff. So, in terms of Ange going to Tottenham, have Tottenham made an approach? I haven't read it. Have they spoken to Ange? I haven't read it. As I keep saying, the only one person that will decide where he's going and where his future lies is Ange Postecoglou. He has said he's concentrating on nothing else other than the Scottish Cup final against Inverness Cavalry Thistle, because he wants to enjoy what he termed a beautiful moment in football. It's something that still floats his boat, and I don't think, and everything else is hot air. It's out in the ether, until Celtic play against Inverness Caledonian Thistle on Saturday. You will not get any comment on Andy's future from the man that matters himself, and that's the Celtic manager. As I say, the rest is white noise. You can decipher or determine what media you read on that issue alone, but everybody is having their say on it. Charlie Nichols has even come out in his column to say Ange would be a warning shot to say that Spurs isn't the place for Ange Postecoglou at this minute in time. Aidan, every man and their dog's having their say on Ange going to Spurs. Don't even know if Spurs have made an offer or how concrete it is. All we know, there's a swirling vortex of alleged interest from Tottenham, but nobody from Celtic, including Ange, is going to make a comment on it, possibly until after the Scottish Cup final. That's the way I would want it as well. Concentrate on the football business. The season isn't finished. They've got one more to go, as the manager said on Saturday, and they never stop. So maybe stop after Saturday and maybe be enlightened more. But I find it all, I said yesterday, what will be Aidan, but the man himself might comment on it after Saturday.
Yeah, he might potentially, like you say, nobody knows except Ange what's really going to happen there. In terms of the Maresca link, I've not personally seen that, so I need to look at what the source was. But obviously he was linked before Ange came in, near the end of that season when Celtic were also being rumoured. Freddie Howe Maresca was one of the names that was floated. He ended up getting the Parma job, so I think he left Man City's B team, got the Parma job, then he's went back and now he's in as Pep Guardiola's assistant. It's one of those ones. It's probably not really worth speculating on that unless it becomes more concrete. For example, we know Ange is moving on, then you would maybe discuss like potential managers, but Yeah, I don't think it's really worth thinking about at all until at least the game's out of the way at the weekend, Tony. I don't think he'll be letting anything distract from that. He said so himself when he was
Yes.
interviewed on Sky at the weekend that all the focus was on the match at the weekend, the Scottish Cup final, and I think that's maybe why a lot of people have sort of started to get a wee bit more nervous. That there was a lot about his body language and how he spoke, but I tend to personally not read too much into that. It's kind of what will be, and we just have to let it play out.
Yep, indeed. And that's the way I'm letting it play out, Aidan. So I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff that happens or rumours on the internet. You know, everybody reads them, don't they? Because they're there, out there. So a lad insane, or a lad insane, depending on what you. If you're a David Bowie fan, you'll get that reference. Not again with the Ange rubbish. For goodness sake, guys, can we not just enjoy the upcoming treble? Celtic have to win the treble first. Inverness stand between them and the treble. A lad insane, or a lad insane, depending on what way you want me to say that. But yes, and speaking of that, my ball says any news and extra tickets for the final after Inverness Calais Thistle returned some of their briefs. Now, I believe Inverness Calais Thistle were given 8,000. Is that right, Aidan?
As far as I know, yeah, and they've just done 2,000 apparently. So
yeah, and they've returned 2,000 yet. So I would expect the SFA or Celtic to make an announcement on that soon, because they will probably turn them over to Celtic fans to snap them up, because obviously every Celtic fan wants to be there on Saturday. So I would keep your eyes on that being made public knowledge today at some point, Aidan. I would have thought, because they have to shift them, don't they?
yeah, I'd imagine it'll be either today or tomorrow, Tony, in terms of an update about that. Obviously, if it's 2,000, they will probably go quite quickly. I don't think there's any worries that they'll not be sold if they're offered on to Celtic fans. Just
Yeah.
when we were discussing Inverness, I've just put in the chat that Stuart Ross, one of our contributors, he's did a sort of opposition analysis on Inverness, just given the fact that maybe a lot of fans haven't seen lots of Inverness, given the fact that they are in the league below. So he sort of broke down how they play their cup run, and including how they got on in their most recent semi-final against Falkirk and their match against Ayr United, in which they just missed out in the playoffs. So if that's of interest to anybody, that's in the comments down below.
Excellent. And also, young Ryan did a piece on the key results, 6 of the best from Celtic's season that helped clinch the title. You can tell me your own, guys. What you rate is the most important game of the season so far, or ones that helped Celtic clinch the title. So Ryan McGinley's put in his 6 there. You can read that on the site, but you can let me know what games you think as well were that contributed to the title win. Lines a bat. How's Sean getting on? I think he's getting on all right, isn't he? For what we know.
I think he is. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, and Marquis says yes, they'll be reorganising crowd control, etc., before releasing the tickets. But I would expect that to be announced pretty soon, where and when you can get your hands on the extra 2,000 or so tickets that are being made available because of Inverness not selling out their allocation. I'm quite surprised at that, Aidan, to be fair.
Yes and no. I mean, obviously the context of, in terms of like size of the club and where they're coming from, and that, it is obviously a bit of a trek. I think the fact the 5:30 kickoff as well, Tony.
I think that might have put a lot of people off. Yeah, definitely.
For travel, I know we've kind of discussed that to death really at this point, the issues with that, but I'd imagine that's probably played a factor as well. But yeah, it was. I thought they might have sold a wee bit more than 6,000, but yeah, I suppose there's maybe a variety of factors that are in play there in terms of why they've not.
Yeah, we'll preview that in the coming days, Aidan. Obviously, the climax to the season, the Scottish Cup final showpiece, and Celtic on course for a record 8th, or a world record 8th domestic treble. I'm sure those words will be said to death before the end of the week. In Northampton, Tim comes in and says his Spurs pal says it wouldn't be end of Ange to take Spurs job. Poison Club again. Listen, it's all conjecture and speculation at the minute. It is a story that has grown over the past few days, to be fair, but until Ange makes some kind of official comment on it, Aidan, you just take it as read that he's perfectly happy. He said he's perfectly happy. Celtic are committed to a tour of Japan and South Korea he lives for the beautiful moments in football. He's going to achieve that, or he's got the chance to achieve that with Celtic on Saturday. So we'll see what transpires, Aidan. Are you worried, Aidan?
It's one of those ones, Tony, to be fair. I mean, when me and Ryan, I think, discussed this one day last week, and when you are on a manager that's on a rolling contract, there's always going to be potential every kind of summer for speculation. But as Ryan pointed out, and as you've mentioned before, the majority of the time, I believe that's kind of how Andrew's worked in
Yes.
terms of his deals and with the jobs that he's involved in. So it's not really out of the ordinary there. I think it is honestly something that at the moment we kind of just need to park before the cup final. And then after that, look, I'm sure they'll be asked about it, and then whatever happens will take its course over the summer. Obviously, people are mentioning the tour of Japan in the comments as a factor for me. I just committed to that, and he will maybe stay on because of it. I would like to think that, but I just don't know. I think Celtic would still be able to make that trip pretty lucrative, given all the Japanese players in the squad. I know there's obviously the Ange angle with Yokohama, who Celtic are playing, but as well as that, you've got Awata and Maida that played there, so I don't know if that would be the sort of deciding factor on him staying, Tony, to be honest.
Yep. Andrew Gilly, I'm feeling in my bones that Andrew's staying. Fair enough, but on the flip side of that, Blinders a back comes in and says Tottenham have the best infrastructure in Europe. They only lack a leader of men. Ange ticks all the boxes. I'm worried. It depends what kind of Celtic supporter you are, Aidan. So it's I've got to say I'm not particularly worried. I'm very much of the let's see how it happens. Let's see it all play out and see where we go from here. So yeah, we'll deal with it when it comes. I'm like Ange, first and foremost, I just want to see if Celtic can win on Saturday and complete a wonderful season and do the treble.
Fingers crossed, Tony, fingers crossed. It's obviously, one-off games can always be difficult. Celtic seem to have picked form back up after the game at the weekend.
Yes.
So fingers crossed they'll take that momentum into the match at Hampden.
Kirsty O'Connor saying, hope you're right, Andrew, about the gut feeling, and JJ McGarvey comes in. Andrew will have another go at Europe. Spurs job will be there again next season with the turnover of managers they have.
That is probably true, Tony, to be fair. in terms of the Spurs job, I mean, they've went through a lot of managers in recent seasons. Really, since Pochettino's been, I think he was sacked, wasn't he, from Tottenham?
Yes.
Mourinho's been in there. Nuno Espirito Santo's been in there. And Ryan Mason, who was taking the team at the end of the season there, he'd had it, and Conte had it, and then Spurs sacked an interim manager. We should probably mention that.
Yes, yeah.
I can't remember his name now, but it was Conte's assistant, I think. He then took, and they sacked him. He was only an interim role, and he got sacked. So that is the sort of the way the club conducts himself, probably summed up there. But.
Robert Gibson there, Spurs job is up for grabs every 3 weeks. Yes, it certainly feels like it, doesn't it? And Kirsty O'Connor saying she's back in Tony's mindset. She lost it there for a wee minute. Come on, Kirsty, don't be losing your shape. Think positive. Isn't that right, Aidan? Think positive that Andrew's going to be here for at least another season. I did say on the programme on Friday, I think this time next season all bets could be off, but I can see him staying at least another season for a crack at the Champions League and see where it takes him. But again, I'm not basing that on any particular knowledge. We're all just kind of having our own say on the matter. Andrew Gilly is saying just about every manager's position in the English Premier League will be available soon enough. Even Pep's, Andrew. And Michael Ross is just saying, hail the champions. And Les D, you can have all the facilities and infrastructure in the world, but they're not the Celtic family. And he loves that and he lives that. He most certainly does. And quoted Tommy Burns on Saturday talking about the Celtic fans, Aidan, saying they're there and they're always there. And, you do. He won't get this adulation anywhere else, Aidan, wherever he goes. He won't get it. And I don't know if that'll come into Ange Postecoglou's thinking at all, but it's quite an addictive drug, isn't it? I'm using drug in the sense of not, but it's a powerful thing, isn't it? That the Celtic supporters and the love of the Celtic family, when you are successful, the love's reciprocated. and thousands, probably millions fold actually. It's all over the world, and he does feel that. And there are few clubs, if any, that can give you the love of the Celtic supporters once you carve your indelible mark in the hearts and minds of the faithful. And that's something very, very difficult, I think, to give up. But he will, if he leaves, he'll be leaving to go to a bigger league to test himself against the best managers in the world, and with bigger clubs, and obviously a bigger wage packet. Bottom line, you're not leaving because Celtic are not a big club. Celtic are a massive club, Aidan.
You'd also be leaving without to a club that I don't think they've even got Europa League football or anything. They might have Conference League. I always get confused with how it works down there. I feel like English football gets about 100 slots every year in terms of being able to put themselves into the European pyramid. But yeah, that's the only thing that, Celtic do have the Champions League as a draw. It'll be a draw for players. If Ange was to move on, it'll be a draw for managers.
Yep.
Also, to an extent, it might be something that plays into his thinking in terms of staying. And just spoke at length, I don't want to be going over points that we've already made, Tony, but he has discussed quite regularly about his aim of wanting to make Celtic a regular Champions League club. Get to the stage it's not just an achievement to be in there, you're in there competing. However, people want to sort of take that as, they're going to the latter stages or even just winning a few games in the group, but regardless, competing. And he has the opportunity to try and maybe do that this season. The same opportunity would not be available at Spurs now. Obviously, the counter argument is you were testing yourself against the best managers domestically down there. Pep, Klopp, Ten Hag, etc. Pochettino obviously going in at Chelsea recently, and Ange will back himself to sort of go up against all those guys, won't he? Regardless of what players he's got at his disposal. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I'm hoping a wee bit like you've mentioned, Tony, that the sort of draw of the Champions League is enough to maybe keep him around for another season.
Marquis, will the show continue throughout the summer weekdays, or are you taking a break with the team? Come on, Marquis, by now, like Kirsty says, we never stop either. We'll be going through the summer, so you can get your regular fix at 10 o'clock every day on here with myself, Aidan and Ryan, if you're that way inclined. And we'll be here to talk about the club and cover the club that you love. So yeah, we'll be here. And Charlie Boyle saying, spot on, Tony, I'm sure Ange will give it a go in Europe. He'll be here for another season at least. The Peak Week G saying, no way Daniel Levy would give Ange the extent of control that he would want or need to introduce Ange Ball at Spurs. Levy appears to be the problem when it comes to managers leaving. I guess that's what a lot of reporters and people have written down there. And I think Ange quite likes that. He's all over the football side of things at Celtic, and he kind of has what you would deem to be total control. Jock Steiner, total control over the football side of matters. Martin O'Neill had it. Brendan Rodgers had it until such times where he felt he didn't have it and he left. So it's afforded to certain managers, and I think Ange's manoeuvred himself into that position where he does have total control. And again, if that's something that he wouldn't have at Tottenham Hotspur, but or everybody conjectures that Daniel Levy might stand in the way of that, then it's something that's a massive consideration. He spoke about building a beautiful house, didn't he? How far in are we into the building of the beautiful house? I would conjecture that we're still not even halfway there. You spoke about the fact he says he wants to make Celtic a Champions League competitive club, but one that continually qualifies for the group stages. So, yeah, how far is he into that? This is the second time they're going to go in and pit their wits against the best. So, there's lots of questions there. There's lots of variables. And again, there's only one man that can answer that and say that he's satisfied with his lot at Celtic, and that's Ange Postecoglou. But as I've said before, I think he is a man of honour. I think he's a man of integrity, and I think he's got more moral fibre than most. Money isn't his god, and I genuinely think he will prepare Celtic for when he leaves and the supporters, because I just think he's that way inclined. I could be wrong in that, but I just think he thinks about football completely differently, and he does consider the fans and everybody's surrounded, or everybody that's connected with the club. People will point out to me that he left Yokohama halfway through a season, I believe. Is that right? Maybe didn't prepare them for it, but I think he left Yokohama because he had the chance to manage Celtic, which was the big European stage and platform that he'd craved all his managerial life for best part of 25 years. So I think that's why he did that. But I think everywhere else he's gone, he's set up a successful team and building blocks and left behind a decent legacy. And even at Yokohama, he left behind a decent legacy. So I'm quite happy to think like that. He could prove me wrong in the next few days, of course, by announcing that he's going to leave. But I'm happy with my thoughts. And if he does turn around and say he wants to go, then he'll go with, I think, Celtic supporters' blessing, won't he? Because he's done everything that we wanted him to do when he came in and inherited, a club at rock bottom and picked us up by the bootlaces, and hopefully we'll have guided you to 5 out of 6 trophies.
Yeah, no, I'm sure if Andrew leaves, people will sort of move on with a lot of people's best wishes. In terms of just, since we're all discussing a wee bit of Spurs, I think if anybody watched that documentary that came out a few years ago, that was very clear in what the structure is down there, Tony. How sort of Levi, I mean, the fact that Daniel Levy or Levi, however you say his name, signs off his statements with Daniel, just his first name, says it all for me personally. But I think it's really just, it seems like a basket case of a club, to be honest. I appreciate we're not as close to it as maybe some people in the comments if they live down there or if they maybe watch a bit more English football than us, but he definitely wouldn't have full control like Pete McGee was saying there. Absolutely no way. In terms of Ange, look, it is a difficult one. This unfortunately is a link that doesn't seem to be going away. We've obviously tried to not be like too heavy touching on it. Obviously today the fact is we've opened up the sort of floor for the commenters to ask, and understandably outside of maybe the Scottish Cup final, it's the big question on everyone's mind, and we obviously completely get that. And imagine, regardless of the result of the weekend, Tony, a lot of Andrew's post-match presser, his interview with sort of BBC and Viaplay is also on as well, isn't it? There'll be questions asked a lot about his future, won't there? It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Whether or not he'll give anything there, and it will sort of drag on into the summer, I don't know. But as it tends to be at that stage, I always remember, before Neil Lennon got the job in 2019, a lot of that post-match presser was dominated by questions about his future. I think after Brendan Rodgers had won the Scottish Cup in 2017, 2018, it was the same. So, there's going to be obviously another opportunity for people to ask him those questions, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of headlines written about it. But yeah, I think it is honestly just with the risk of repeating myself, one that we just need to park until after that game on the weekend, Tony, because I don't think we're going to get anything before then that confirms it. And when Ange does his pre-match press conference, I don't think he'll be giving too much away about it. So, yeah, as I'm seeing somebody in the comments say, it is understandable that Celtic supporters have PTSD after Brendan Rodgers leaving. Well, I get that. I think a lot of people are the same. A lot of the same things we're saying about Ange. It's probably hard to think of now, but at the time we said about Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
And the difference would be, obviously, though, firstly, Rodgers would have been there a bit longer than Ange if Ange does leave at the end of this season, but Rodgers did leave, was it February or something like that, 2 days before, or the day before a crucial game against Hearts, then a quarter cup final against Hibs at Easter Road, I think it was. So
Hibs at Easter Road, yeah.
Whereas Andrew would be leaving at the completion of a season, which I think if Brendan Rodgers had done, people would maybe remember a wee bit more fondly. But anyway, don't want to get into that, just we'll be discussing that for hours. But yeah, I think it is just something we need to park for now, Tony, to be honest. I understand why it's a pressing concern for fans, but I don't think we want to get much insight over the next few days.
Now, Blinders are back, came in and says Vince Rugari, who's an Australian journalist, friend of the show as well, said that Ange had it in his contract that if a big European club came in, Yokohama would let him leave. That doesn't surprise me. So I did say that I think that was the case there. And Les D says, I'm sure Martin O'Neill will be making Ange very aware of the difference from the EPL and what he has at Celtic. Everyone who leaves regrets it. You saw on Saturday the mutual respect and love that both those gentlemen have for each other, Aidan. Just you see in their interaction, they both enjoy each other's company. And maybe be just the cult of the manager and a man who has been in Ange's shoes and Ange talking to, leaning on that kind of influence and, nous basically and knowledge. And the two of them, they really do respect each other whenever they're on the media platforms and they talk away. And I love that. I think it's great to see.
Yeah, no, it is good. They obviously have a sort of good relationship. There's always a bit of patter flying about. It was obviously nice seeing Martin O'Neill take the trophy at the weekend as well up the Celtic Way and then onto the park before the team lifted it. So, yeah, no, it's good. It's clearly it's the same with Gordon Stratton. When any time you see them together with Ange or they're talking about one another, there's always a lot of respect there. So I know Strachan when Ange first came in, he was sort of one of the rare people in the media that was saying, you've got to give him a chance outside of like Celtic fans, obviously. In terms of something that was on like mainstream outlets like a talk sport or whatever, talking about how it's vital that you give him a chance, you let him get his own players in, etc., etc. So there's obviously a bit of respect there between those two. But yeah, no, it's as just before we finish up, it is good to see there's sort of such a strong relationship because for a lot of people, Mark, particularly maybe if your age, Tony, I'm going to guess that obviously you've got Steen and that, etc. Billy McNeill when he was manager, but Martin O'Neill has sort of probably created some of the most fondest time memories for people in recent times. So the fact that having a manager that's creating great memories right now or getting on, I'm sure is enjoyable to see. Don't want to speak on your behalf, Tony, but I'm just assuming that.
Martin O'Neill, the benchmark, is that what you're telling me, Aidan? Yeah. Pete Week G saying Saturday watching Martin O'Neill bring out the trophy was a very special moment. It was indeed. And we'll end with this one. Martin Rodgers, he's now 99% reassured. I think he's reassured that Angie's staying, Aidan. I hope that's what he means. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. A short one today because there's various things happening with myself and Aidan, meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, but thank you for your contribution. We will make it a kind of rule during the close season or during the fact when the football's not on that we'll pick one day a week and we'll throw it open to you guys. We'll have a Q&A session and you just throw your comments and questions into the comment section and we will endeavour to answer them like today. Hope you've enjoyed that, but we'll do it more as the weeks and days move on. Aidan, did you enjoy that?
Always enjoyable, Tony, to hear from the viewers.
Yeah, Charlie Boyle, great show. Thanks, lads. Cool. But as I say, we'll do that. We'll pick a day a week. Won't always be the same day. We just felt today that we would give you your say. We like to give you your say, you know that, but we'll make it hard and fast rule when the football's not on to do that. Shifting the wardrobe back into the background, Tony. Nah, that's not happening. That won't be happening, Robert. So I have to disappoint you there. Right, guys. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the Celtic Way. And the strapline tells you support top quality football journalism, covering the club you love. Click of a button, guys. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Have a terrific Tuesday. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.
Cheers, guys.